A moment more than 27 years in the making. Willie Veasy leaves the courthouse a free man.
I didn't see it coming, but I believed this day would come, though.
Yeah.
I really did.
A new start for Willie after being wrongfully convicted for a North Philly murder. That new beginning means spending the holidays with family, reconnecting with friends, and getting settled into life after exoneration.
It was exciting. I was overwhelmed, happy, just super happy.
Willie's sister, Keitra Veasy, fought for years for his release. She says COVID-19 made the transition to the outside world difficult for her brother.
He was pretty swamped out because he couldn't do nothing. He couldn't go certain places, and he wanted to do so much this year.
Willie tells us he needs some space and doesn't want to talk about the anniversary.
It's hard. You know, people that does 27 years, they just doesn't bounce back into society and say, hey, I'm fine, everything's all right. It takes time.
And I can understand. I was at that place where he is now.
Johnny Berry gets it because he's lived it.
I went to prison at the age of 16 for a murder, which I'm actually innocent of. I spent 23 plus years behind bars.
Johnny was released 2 years ago. He says it takes time to adjust to freedom.
You gotta learn how to have and develop social skills. You know, being in a box for so long, away from people in normalized society, puts you at a disadvantage.
Pennsylvania exonerees say the Commonwealth leaves them at another disadvantage.
A lot of us come out with absolutely or almost nothing. And on top of that, when we come out, we're not on probation and parole, so there are no services available to us.
The wrongfully convicted also don't get financially compensated for the years they spend behind bars.
How do you send somebody away for prison for something they didn't do? And because of some technicalities, say, okay, well, all right, well, get out. All right, well, be free and figure it out yourself.
Pennsylvania State Representative Christopher Rabb wants to change how exonerees are treated.
To think that we are in one of the states, one of the 15 states, that provides less than nothing to people who did absolutely nothing wrong and have wound up in a cage potentially for decades in this state is unacceptable. It is a moral outrage.
Representative Rabb originally was going to submit a bill last March that would compensate and set up services for the wrongfully convicted. He says COVID put that on hold.
In Pennsylvania, we seek to have the most generous package of folks who've been deprived of life and liberty, and being innovative around what that looks like, not just for the individual, not just for their family, but whole communities.
Rabb's bill could help a good number of people. So far in 2020, there have been 8 exonerations in Pennsylvania. In 2019, 15 wrongfully convicted were set free. Right now in Pennsylvania, the only way for those individuals to get compensated would be to file a federal civil rights lawsuit. Those lawsuits can be difficult to win because not every wrongful conviction involves a civil rights violation.
A compensation bill would kind of like even the playing field.
Rabb plans to introduce the bill in December.
It has been inspired by folks who have lived this nightmare, folks like Willie Veasy.
For the investigators, I'm Mitch Blacher, NBC10 News.
Willie Veasy's attorney has not yet filed a civil rights lawsuit on Willie's behalf. By the way, you can watch our series on life after exoneration at NBC10.com/exoneration.